Could this be the last iPhone ever? What's going on, everyone? Riley here, and this is the very first episode of Talkin Tech. Now, as a YouTube creator who's just getting his feet off the ground, all of my videos and the products and content that I cover in those videos are self-funded, so meaning that I pay for it all. Now, the issue that I'm running into, and I'm sure many creators alike are running into, is that it can be very expensive to try to stay up to date with everything happening in the world. So what I mean by that is, you know what, I've got this iPhone 6 Plus here. I've done a review on it, kind of. And I can do that because I bought the phone and it's something I use daily. But what if I want to review an Nexus 6P or an LG V10 or any of these other awesome phones that just came out this past year? Well, I don't get review phones. It would be awesome if I did, but I don't. I don't get review phones. So I'm left with either having to buy the phone myself or convince someone that I know who has the phone to let me borrow it. Not easy. And you know, I've come up with this way that I want to be engaged with you guys. I want to give you guys my take on all this new technology without having to do like a full featured review on it, because like it's expensive. I can't afford to just buy a phone just to review it and then try to sell it, you know. So I'm coming up with this series, Talkin Tech, where once a week, probably on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I'll release a video with me giving my take, like this here, on whatever tech news happened that week. Now today, in this inaugural episode, I'm going to talk about Apple, as you probably saw in the teaser. And no, this is not going to be the final phone that Apple creates. Basically what I'm saying is that might be the final iPhone that I ever use. And let me give you a quick backstory about how I decided I wanted to talk about Apple in this first episode. So, I'm at work the other day and I have a customer come in and he says, hey, you know, and this is an older gentleman. He asks, hey, I've got my wife. She's got an iPhone 4. She needs to upgrade. What do I upgrade her to? And you know, this is not what I do for a living. I don't sell phones. He just knows I'm into technology and he asks me these questions. So I'm asking him, you know, what does she use it for? What does she need out of her phone? What are her interests in to get out of a phone and all that kind of stuff? And basically I recommended the iPhone 6s because, you know, she's an older lady and all she's ever had as a smartphone is an iPhone. And that's the beauty of an iPhone, is that once you know how to use one, you know how to use them all. But that's also kind of the downfall of iPhones, because as someone who is more and more into technology, getting more and more into technology, I'm growing to learn that iPhones are just boring. You know, they are the same thing every year. They got a little new design. Some get a little bigger, some get a lot bigger, and it's the same thing though. It's the same experience. You don't get anything different. I'm sorry, but she's gonna take that iPhone 4 and be like, oh hey, I want to take a picture. Let me click this button. Oh, it's the same exact icon. And that's becoming an issue with me, and I want to talk about why that's becoming an issue with me. So the issue I've been having with Apple is that they just seem to not be learning how to grow and evolve, and you know what, be creative. And prime example, you look at the Apple Smart battery case that they just released. Now, this is another thing that 3 years ago you would have never thought, one, that they would have a phablet, but two, they would release a battery case for their phones. Apple is the type of company that says, hey, we release this product. You might want, you know, a replaceable battery. You might want micro SD. You don't need that. You don't want it. We're telling you don't want it, and you're gonna believe that, and you just don't want it. Now, a lot of people have been complaining that, man, the iPhone 6, 6s, their battery life just isn't up to par. It's barely getting them through a day. Surprisingly, Apple listened and said, hey, you guys want extra battery, but instead of giving it in a new form factor in the actual phone, they just say, hey, here's this ugly ass battery case, throw it on there, $100, you're gonna love it. And people are gonna buy it, of course. And that's the issue I have, is that Apple is in so much control of what they do as a company that they really just do not care what consumers like you and I want out of their smartphones. whether it's a higher definition screen, whether, it's longer lasting battery, whether it's just a thicker phone, I don't know. You take into account what Samsung has done with the Note 4 and the Note 5. A lot of people complain that the Note 3 and all their Galaxy series were plastic and cheap. What did they do with the Note 4? They put that metal ring around it, made it feel a whole lot more premium. And then, of course, with the Note 5, they went with the glass back, went with the non-removable battery. But, they listened to their consumers and the people buying their phones and said, hey, this is what you guys want, let me try to give you that. And you see the same thing with Google and their new Nexus phones, Huawei did one hell of a job with creating a phone that's just a pleasure to hold in your hand. Apple doesn't do that. Apple doesn't care what the consumers want. They just care about what's going to make them money, And you know what? They listened that people want more battery in their phones, and they said, okay, we'll give you more battery, not in the phone, but like I said, an ugly ass case, here you go, $100, and people are going to buy it because people just think, if it's Apple, it's quality, which is an issue that I'm learning is becoming an issue in itself. A reason that I was such a big fan of Apple, starting however many years ago, it was the first smartphone that I had. I think it was like the iPhone 4 or 4S. No, it was iPhone 4. And I loved the phone. It was the first smartphone. I'm like, yes, I am God now. I had the little brick. And then they came out with the iPhone 5, and I was like, yes, this is amazing. It's bigger. Bring back the slate black because the space gray got nothing on the slate black color. But then, you know what? They come out with the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus, and it's like, okay, you kind of took a step back with the design. It's a little boring now. It's a little ugly with the antenna lines. You came out with gold, with the iPhone 5S, and that's like, you think that, you get an Apple product and you're proud to have it. And that's just not the case anymore because it's just a piece of aluminum now, it's nothing to be proud about. You can't be like, oh, hey, look at this, You take a look at that gold color Note 5 or the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, and that thing's like boom, bang, is out there popping, and you don't get that with Apple products anymore. You do with their MacBooks and stuff like that, but not with their iPhones. And that is an issue that, it's coming up in the software of the phone, because it used to be that you got, whatever iOS version it was, and it just worked. That was the thing that I loved about iPhone, is that, gosh, you want to take a picture, you click the camera button, and it works. You want to send a message, you go to messages, and it works. You want to watch YouTube, and it works. That's not the case anymore. iOS 9 whatever I'm on now, it's just so buggy, and it's so nasty and disgusting. I don't know how many times I'm sitting there, a message comes in, I'm watching a video, message comes in, I swipe down, reply, go back to the video, and it rotates back into portrait mode. And, or shoot, I'll be scrolling down, it kind of freezes for a second, and then just force closes the app. Kills me every time, and I'm just like, it's like Apple is just hurrying up, trying to release these things, and they're just not ready. Whether it's a phablet that can't utilize 5.5-inch screen, let alone freaking give you the opportunity to, take one of these icons and put it down there. Who knows? It's a mess, and I don't know. I'm really fed up with Apple. I really am. Apple, if you're listening, give me a call, give me a job. I don't know, do something. I love you guys. But I've realized that this is probably going to be the last iPhone that I purchase with my own money, unless Apple does something really crazy or insane with the iPhone 7, because it's just, there's so many better options out there now with Android. All, iOS and Android, they've become so close in competition that it's a toss-up, whatever you want. It's really whatever operating system you prefer. But I'm sorry, but it's like Apple's trying to play catch-up now, and they're just seeing what people want. you know, more battery, a bigger phone, and they're just doing it without thinking about it and making sure that it's ready to be put out there. I don't know. I'm a little nervous right now. I don't know if you can tell because I don't usually sit here and just talk about technology like this, just sitting and talking about my thoughts on it. You know, usually I have something scripted or something like that. So, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna end this video. Let me know if you guys want to see these videos because I would love to be able to find a way to stay engaged with you guys even more. And yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. If you liked it, like it, subscribe, comment, do your thing. Yeah, this has been Riley B. Kind of a boring video, bringing you tech from the upper left. See you in the next one. See ya.